I have decided to use this CSV that I created last year in my Java project. So basically here I created a new folder called assets. Then afterwards I added in the data /map.csv stroke map.csv. Then I added the theme 01, theme 02, which are which are audios. So basically I renamed them theme 01, which is audio 1, theme 02, audio 2. Then then I created a new folder called images, which is this one here. And then in the images, I added the an image, which is this one. So basically, then I went to pub spec YAML because I'll be using basically I'll be using these ones here in my project. So in order to basically in order to use them efficiently, I added them under the assets in pub spec YAML. So I wrote it as assets /data stroke map.csv. So in order to look for it, you have to go in assets folder, then here /datamap.csv, which is this one here. Then for the this is the image. This is the CSV. Yeah. Then for the images, for the image, you have to first go in the assets folder, then images, then here, which is this image. So it's assets /images /image.png. So it's this one here, assets images /images /image.png. Then for the audio one, which is theme stroke 01, it's assets /theme /01. So it's assets here /theme 01. Then for audio 2, assets /theme 02. So it's assets /theme 02. So also in this area, you have to follow the indexing of writing them, like here. So you have to follow, basically you have to write it like this, yeah. For the dependencies that I'll be using, will be basically I added all the packages that I will be using, which are Hive/Flutter, then audio players. So this package here, audio players, will allow me to use the theme 01, then theme 02. Then for the Hive/Flutter, basically this package will allow me to use the Hive/Flutter. Then also the Hive, this package will allow me to use the the Hive database. Now, so basically I created I created a class. So in this class, I'm basically to translate the data in order to translate the data in order to translate this data here. So I had to create a new class. So I had to create a new class. Then afterwards, this class will be used into a Hive database. So this class will help me to be. So this class will allow me to use the Hive database. But in order to use the Hive database, which will map each line in the data map CSV, I had to update it. So I have to write some changes, like in every model class, like so this class will basically contain a unique ID. This is a unique ID and type ID. So firstly you have to write Hive type brackets type ID, then colons, then 0. So this is class, and then so this is the these are initials for for this class decision map. So so in case you want to add another class here, then you have to write type ID colon then 1. So it will be 0 here, like 0, and then another class, like maybe another type of class, it will be type ID or 1. That will be a second class. So this is the first class, then the other class will be 1, then 2, then 3, 4, up to. So under in class, so basically here I have just a decision map as my class, and also it's the first class. So it has a unique ID 0 and type ID. It's this one here. So now under the decision map, I have my variables, which are int ID, int no ID, int yes ID. So this will store the integers, the ID, no ID, yes ID. So the description will store the string, and the question will store the string. So here so also here again, to generate to generate the decision map, you have to have a unique number and a directive for every variable in here. So this is a unique number 0, this is a unique number 1, this is a unique number 2, this is a unique number 3, this is a unique number 4. And now the directive is a Hive field, and also must include this. Now the let indicates that the field will be initially in. The let will indicates that the field will be initialized when being used for the first time. So when the so basically when the ID is being used for the first time, the let this let will be initialized in this field here. So now to generate a Hive adapter, I opened up a command prompt and went through the root canal, through the root of my Flutter project of this Flutter project. Afterwards, had to generate the project by using the build runner package, which created the adapter generator. Then so it created this class here. So this is the type, this adapter generator. So now I copied, so now to use this type adapter generator, I had to add it in my data /map.dat here. So now I had to import it to be used. Then here I imported all the package. I imported all the packages that I will be using, which are the package flutter /material dat. This will allow me to use the materials. The data /map.dat. This will allow me to use this this will allow me to use this class here. It will allow me to use the decision map class. Then the Flutter /services will allow me to use all the services of the Flutter. Then the Hive, the Hive /hive.dat will allow me to use the Hive database. Because I used the because I added the because I had because I added the Hive /flutter. So, and the audio players basically will allow me to use the audio players, this theme 01, theme 02, which so basically these audio players will allow me to use these two audios here. So now to use the Hive database, I had to declare a local database by making the box. I'm actually, I had to use the local database by making the box as the primary key. So I had to remove the list. So basically I had to replace the list with this code here. Then here as sync, this operation basically this operation will let the program to complete the work while waiting for another operation to finish. So this as sync will allow me basically will allow the program to complete the work, will allow the program to complete work while waiting for another operation, while waiting for these operations to finish. So now initialized, this code will tell the system to make sure that the user interface widgets are loaded. Then the code will initialize the Flutter app with Hive, and finally the code will register the adapter. So basically this code here, so this code here will make sure that all the user interface widgets, or the widgets here are loaded. The widgets, these widgets here are loaded, yeah. Yeah. So are loaded. Then the code will initialize the Flutter app. So it will initialize the Flutter app with the Hive, and finally the code will register the adapter. So basically, if, after initializing the Flutter app with Hive, the code will register this adapter here. So then afterwards, this code here will store data in boxes. The hive.open box basically will store data in boxes which contains decision map. So basically it will store data, all data which contains the decision map. So afterwards, then so it will store this here. So it's store data inside the decision map, this decision map here. Then strings CSV, this code here. So this is the path to the CSV file asset will be stored in the CSV string as the data type. So this is the path to the CSV. So in order to reach the data /map.csv, you have to go to assets/data then this, then map.csv. So it's assets here, which is this one here. So this data this data here, this one here, basically will be stored in the CSV. So the CSV will contain the string as the data type. Yeah. So this will contain the data map.csv as the data type, as string as data type. So then the root bundle.load string, root bundle here. The CSV, this here allows the CSV to be loaded. Then after loading it, it will be stored in the file data, which will be the which will contain the string as its data type. Then list here, it will contain it will contain the file data when splitted each line. Basically after splitting each line, here, rows will be contain and will contain basically rows will contain the file data after splitting each line inside the file data. So this code will split each line of data that is inside in the file data, and the rows will hold the file data which contains data type as list. So basically the rows will contain list as its data type after splitting each line in the file data. So it will contain this here, for example. Then it will split each line. This is the line, split this line, split this line, split this line, split this line. Then after splitting each line, it will be stored in the rows. Then the rows will contain list as its data type. Then for this is a loop. This is a loop. So now for every item that is less than for every item that is less than I or equal to I, basically I decided to select an item from row and split it by a comma, then store it in the item row as a list. But when the item reaches the end of the given row, the loop will stop. So here, so when it reaches I++, the loop has to stop. So basically, inside in the loop, from I or I equals to 0, each row will be splitted by a comma. No, actually, yeah, each row will be split by a comma. This here, rows I, it will select each row. This here, it will select each row, then store it in a row as string. Then the first row I will be splitted by a comma, then stored in item row. Then the second row will be split by a comma, then stored in item row. Then third row be split by a comma, then stored as an item row. Then the list will be, the item row will contain list as its data type. Since list carries many data, contains many data. So here, and then here, this code here, this code will create a new variable which is deck map, and its data type will be a decision map, and the decision map inside the decision map, each item row is converted into an integer depending on their index positions. So for example here, this is index position 0 of item in row. It will be converted into integer, then stored as ID. Then in the index position 1 will be stored as an item in index position 1 in the item in row will be converted into integer, because this is int.parse. This here helps to convert each data, then afterwards stored in as a no ID. Then index position 0 of item in row will be converted as an integer, then stored as a yes ID. Then item in row 3, it doesn't need to be converted into as an integer because it's a string, so it will be stored as a as description. Then item in row at index position 4 will be converted into actually no, it won't be converted into an integer because it's also a string, so it will be stored as a question. Then this code here receives two values, which are the key and the value. This code here, key and the value. So when we want to navigate by using the when we want to navigate through the code by using when we want to navigate through in here, we want to navigate like in the CSV, we want to navigate here, we have to use the basically we have to use the key, which will be faster to get the data. Then this code here, this code defines the My Flutter app as an extension of the stateful widget. Then here we have to write the variables which we'll be using, which are integer, int ID, no ID, yes ID, description, questions. So basically we'll be using them in other parts in the foreign codes. So in here, this description here, I mean this decision map question mark current equals box, this code here, the question mark here indicates that the code may have an object. So the code may be the code may not have an object, therefore the code will therefore the code will check through the object if there is no a null object or no object before moving the following steps. So basically it will stop if there's a no object or a null object, or the code contains a null, it will stop. But if there's no null object, the code will continue to the next steps. So when the code doesn't show a null, it will display the current ID. It will display the current ID stored as ID, the current yes, the current yes ID stored as yes ID. The no ID, actually the current no ID stored as a no ID. The current question stored as a question, and description stored as a current description. So here further down, when the yes button is, so here the void means return. Yeah, so when the yes button is clicked, the return should include everything related to everything related to yes handler, which are the ID, current ID, the yes ID, current yes ID, which is stored as the yes ID, description, which is stored as the current description, which is stored as description, current question, which is stored as the question. So when the user, when this button so when the yes button is pressed, it will show. So this is the current description, and this is the current question. So again, when it is pressed, the yes button, this is the current description, and then this is the current question. So the current description will be stored as the description, then the current question. So this is the current question, will be stored as a question. So this is the current description stored as a description, and this is the current question stored as the current stored as a question. But when a no handler is pressed, when this handler is pressed and there is no a null or an object, it will store a current ID as ID, current no ID as no ID, current description as a description, current question as a question. So when a no handler, so when a no button is pressed, so this is the current description, so it will be stored as a description. Then current question, this is the current question, will be stored as a question. Here the return scaffold. So this is a Flutter user widget. So the Flutter widget's user interface will be stored here. Its code will be stored here. So now this align means the alignment. So the alignment will be in the center. So I mean this will be here in the center. It's in the center. Actually, let me turn it off. And I bring it back so that you can see that it will be displayed in the center, and each child will be sized box. It will be the size of it will be sized box since it's the size. So this is the center of it. It's coming. So it's here. Be in the center. So this is the sized box. And the height media query of context. So basically I have decided to allow the height and the width to use the percentage value. Therefore the code will calculate the height and set the height to a percentage of the screen, and also it will do the same as for the image. So basically the code so here the code will calculate the height. So basically the code will calculate the height and set the height to a percentage of the screen. So this will set the percentage of the screen, and also it will do the same for the image widget, which is this height, and here fit box fit. So basically since this width, this code here, these two lines here, one line for the width size and the other line for the height. So when being calculated, the height and the width to the percentage of the screen, basically there are some, like here there are some space which will be left out, and also down here there will be some space which will be left out. So now this code comes into place whereby it will fill out the spaces left out. The box fit.cover to the spaces left out. So here the image will cover the spaces left when the width and height are calculated after calculating the after doing these two lines here. After doing these two lines here, there will be some spaces. So this code will fill out those spaces and So we fill out the spaces, so there will be no spaces left since the box fit dot cover is being implemented. Now here image const asset image. So now this, it means that every time when this const means that every time when there's change to an image to the user interface, the image will be constant. So therefore the image won't change. Even if I do this, the image won't change. Or even if I click on a button, the image won't change. So therefore it means the const asset image. So here this code will make the asset. So the code here, the asset image, this code will make const asset image. This code will make the asset image constant, and the asset image and also the asset image will when loading basically when the asset image when loading the location of the image from the asset, and then the image and basically finally the image itself. So basically to locate the image, this image here, to locate it here, you have to go to the asset image. Actually when loading the location of the image here, when loading this image here, you first have to go through the assets here, assets, images, then image. So asset, images, then image.ping. So that's when you will find this image here. Then so this is the this is the asset image widget. And the alignment. So here down, for the alignment, it's in the center. Here, the alignment for the I have decided that the no position of the button should be in the center, and it should be constant. So when pressed, the positions don't change. So the alignment should be in the center, and the position should for the no button, the alignment should be in the center, and the position shouldn't change when being pressed. Then inside, when pressed of the no button, basically when pressing the no button, it should play the audio theme 01 dot. You should play the audio of this theme here, which is referenced in the asset folder. So actually, which is located in the assets folder. So now when pressing, let's go back. When pressing no, this button here, it should play this theme. Should play this theme 01. So the location of the theme 01, it's in the assets, then theme 01. So now that's the audio for the, it's the audio for the no button. Then here the audio cache, this code here decides the code decides that the audio should be played in the assets, since Flutter doesn't provide any easy way to play the audio. So this code will copy the asset to a temporary folder in which the device where it is then played as a local file. So basically, for easy way, since I drag and drop to this theme 01, should be it should be played when the no button is pressed. So that's the audio for theme 01 when the no button is being pressed. So now now after playing, the player.play, this code here plays the sound when clicked. So now when being clicked, it will play the sound. Here for the yes handler, I have decided to make the red color to be constant. Oh, and also the image background, I forgot, yeah. And also the image, and also I made the image to be the background of the of this user interface. So here the color for the I forgot yeah, here the color. I have made the color of the description. For the color, basically I have made the color text for the question different from the text from the text description different, in order to differentiate and understand the graphic user interface. So now this is the red color for the question, for the description. Okay, thank you. And this is the so this is the question color, which is purple. Are you going back to cyber life with the dead Android? So now this is the description color, this is the question color. So now for the question color, I have made it like color colon, then color, then afterwards this is the code for the purple color, which is contained in the color and stored as a color. Now this is the question. Now for the description, I think so. For the description, which is red again, it's color, const color containing its code, which will be which is red, stored as a color, const which is a color, const stored as a color. Then again, for both colors, I have made them constant. I have made them constant. Actually, it's here. This is the color, and this is the color. This is the color for the purple, and this is the color for the red. So this is the description question. Again, this is a description, and this is a question description. So now for the text, it's text for both description and the question. I have made them in the center, like you see. They're in the center, as here, text align center. Both texts of two childs, this child and this child for the description, and this child for the question. I have made them in the center. It will be so therefore it will be displayed in the center and will expand in columns because it contains the overflow widget, which allows the expansion of the specified spacing. So basically this is the specified spacing. So now they're expanding into columns. When I do like this, they will expand to columns. Then if I do like this, they enlarge to 1. So both they contain so they contain the font size 34, and style has to be normal, and the font weight, the width has to be 400. So its size is 34. You can see it properly now. Yeah, it's 34 for both for both in description and your question. 34 sizes, and font weight is 400. Its weight, it contains 400 the weight, and the style, it's normal, so you can read it easily. See, the description is, look, saving the kid is what matters most. Will you do with the Android? If not, I will execute it. So also the text style has to be constant, so that it does, so therefore it doesn't change. It doesn't change at all. So now so also for the buttons here, I have made the color of the buttons red. This is the code for the red color, and also this is how you write it, constant, then to be stored as color, the elevation 0. So now the border of the buttons also should be constant, doesn't change, and should be rounded. The border radius has to be 0. So now here both buttons I also forgot. I have decided that on the description and the question here, the description should come first, then the question last. Description first, question last, for easy understanding. Like here, this is the location of the question: -01, -06. So it's on -01, -06, then 01, -02, 01, -02, and nearly in the so that's why -02 means up, and -06 means down a bit, and -01 means aside nearly in the middle. This here, nearly in the middle. Now let's continue for the buttons here. And the buttons, I've made them here. The color is red and it's constant. And the shape of it has to be rounded rectangle border. So each shape is a rectangular border, as you can see it. And also it contains a text. The text color is white. This is the code for the text color, and it has to be constant. And the height of it shouldn't be large and it shouldn't be small. It has to be both of them, of no and yes. Yes buttons, they have to be 40, and the mini width has to be 140. It's mini width. So if I change the mini width to 40, now you see, first way, let me reload it. Oh, it gives the same. But if I do it, like this, so now the mini width of the no is 40. I changed it to 40. So now it's in the size of the button. Its width is small. So now basically I preferred it to be a medium. To look normal as its current one. As its current one. As its similar one, the yes button. So both of them, they must contain, they have to be like medium, not big, not small, but medium. So this is medium. And I did the constants, the edge insects dot symmetry. The horizontal has to be 16 and the vertical has to be 8 for both buttons. Yeah, for both buttons.